Hello, and welcome to the Table. Today we're looking at Ted Alspach's Werewords Deluxe, a 2018 revision of Bezier Games' Werewords. This game aims to be a quick-to-play social deduction game, accessible to just about everyone, regardless of their level of familiarity with the genre, using a mobile app to do most of the heavy lifting. Players are going to be embarking on a variation of 20 questions, asking one member of their group yes or no questions, trying to find a secret word. But some players in the group have already seen this word and are trying to lead the group down terrible pathways with bad logic and poor questions, but trying to remain hidden so the group runs out of time with them never finding that magic word. Let's take it to the table and see how it plays. The core of Werewords, as with most social deduction games, is here in the initial dealing of the role. Who's good, who's bad, and who's a disembodied hand that goes bump in the night. Werewords has these huge chunky cardboard character tokens with some really nice art on them, and they feel great in the hand. Everyone gets a role, and this is going to determine what you're going to be trying to do in the game, be you on the side of the village or on the side of the devious werewolves. We've got the villagers, players who are just trying to find the hidden word. Should they fail, they can still win by finding one of the werewolves. Their counterparts, the werewolves. They know the magic word before the game even starts and will be trying to lead the group the wrong way. Then we have the seer, a village-aligned player who also knows the word, but if the village does manage to find the magic word before time runs out, the werewolves can still win by correctly identifying them from their team. There are a number of other roles that add extra quirks and complications, but for the core of the game, the only other character is the mayor, a position rather than a role, given to one player who will be answering all of the questions. But because they have a secret identity as well, they might be deliberately unhelpful or even lying. They get the box filled with these great chunky yes, no, maybe tokens, as well as one-offs for a way off and so close token. But let's quickly talk about the extra roles, because that's my favourite part of hidden role games, talking about roles. The minion is a werewolf-affiliated player who knows who the wolves are, but not the magic word, sort of like a hard-mode werewolf. The fortune teller gets a Wheel of Fortune-style prompt, a fun variation of the seer, but providing a new target for the wolves to hunt. And then there's the Bezier Games staple, the doppelganger, who becomes a copy of a random other player, adding some real chaos into the game. There's some others, but I'm going to just leave them for you to discover if you do pick up the game. The app streamlines a lot of the process for the players. At the start, all the selected roles are picked here and then dealt out. Then, the app will lead the group through closing their eyes and showing the word to those who need to know it. It removes the need for any kind of moderator and also reduces false starts that can be common in games of this kind. The mayor then picks a secret word from a wide selection of topics and uses submitted lists. Players can even create their own word lists and upload them if they're so inclined. It then functions as a timer, announcing when the guessing phase is coming to a close and then instructing the group for the final challenges. The timed phase is the core of the game, and players can openly ask yes or no questions of the mayor. The mayor responds by handing out yes, no, or maybe tokens to different players, placing them in front of each other, serving as an active record of their question history. This continues until the group either successfully guesses the magic word, time runs out, or the mayor runs out of the tokens. This question and answer phase is always fun, especially with the added quirks of the traitors and time limits. Because everyone is involved in asking questions, the standard villager role is still in the majority of the game, and this is a huge advantage over many hidden role games where the default role can feel excluded from a lot of the gameplay. Finally, you get one of two hunts at the end of the game. If the villagers fail to guess the word, then it's time to hunt a werewolf down. Who knew the word and was asking bad questions? But if the table does find the magic word, then the werewolves will be hunting for the seer, the village player who knew too much. This allows for exciting turnarounds in the game and creates short but very exciting bursts of social deduction. Now, Werewords social deduction has a lot more emphasis on player emphasis, intent and tone. Those yes and no questions take up almost all of the interactions in the game. And because of that, there aren't the smoking guns that you find in other games in the genre, like Werewolf's grisly murders or Secret Hitler's governmental abuses of power. This can be a real drawback for some gamers who prefer more evidence in their investigations, but by making it lighter in this way, it really opens the game up for those players in your group who aren't as keen or as good at lying. So should the village team fail to find the magic word, then the hunt for the wolves begins, and the table erupts into accusations and counterclaims. If you've ever played Mafia or Werewolf, you know how this goes. But every bizarre question that you ask, or every lie by omission, will come up, and in those 5 minutes, because of that panicked hurry for that word, everyone's going to have something levied at them. The hunt for the seer is very different as the wolves slowly reveal themselves, and it's this wonderful moment of revelation for the table to see who exactly was a wolf. And then the whole village clams up. Everyone tries to seem as innocent as possible and not to give anything away to the wolves. And you get this wonderful moment of exhilaration or desperation as the wolves pick their target. Now, I love both kinds of deduction that this game has to offer. The frantic accusation in hunting for wolves and the quiet deliberation that is the seer hunt. There are other social deduction games that have moments like this, with the insider being looked for by the evil team, but it's really rare that a game switches gears just as fast as Werewords can do. I've never played just one game of Werewords. The game lends itself to just an immediate next round of the game. And while the rules don't have anything for it, it's easy enough to rotate the mayor if you want to, so everyone can have a go at being the question master. That accessibility and the supposed version that this game goes up to 20 players, it's a crazy easy sell to my group and makes it an ideal filler game. But, again, that accessibility can kind of hurt the game. What is the theme of this game? Why do the werewolves want to stop us from guessing a word? There's a vague explanation that the mayor has a magic word that will banish them, but it helps if you don't think about it that much. And that leads me to a weird criticism of this game, in that it's probably my least favourite social deduction game in my collection. And that's not to say that it's bad. The fact that it's still in my collection, and whenever I'm packing a bag to take a group of games round, it always makes it into the bag. But those smoking guns that I mentioned earlier are absolutely my favourite moments in social deduction. Those half-betrayals and those twists of the knife are the most incredible storytelling moments. And Werewords kind of strips those out in favour of accessibility. At the risk of sounding elitist, it's a very good entry-level game, or really good at being inclusive for those gamers who aren't as into social deduction. But I always find myself wanting a bit of a heavier experience. I would be remiss if I didn't mention how quickly the deluxe version of this game came out, less than a year after the original version, and the differences are small but significant. The original version of this game has only 5 different roles in addition to the mayor: villagers, werewolves, the minion, the seer, and the beholder. And that can really limit replay options with that, and can be a real death sentence if you are really into your social deduction. Now, that's obviously not a criticism I can levy of this game, but be careful if you go out to get a version of this, because you don't want to end up being stung by getting the inferior version of the game. When the Kickstarter for Werewords Deluxe was run, there was an upgrade kit offered to add all of the new roles and the functionality, but that doesn't seem to be available anywhere, so you're out of luck if you pick up the old one. Now, I've just been very critical of this game, but I do think it's a great filler title. It's extremely easy to play and even easier to teach, and can provide some incredible highs of social deduction in a very low-risk environment, which makes it even more inclusive than Bezier Games' One Night Werewolf series. Thanks for watching. This has been a review of Bezier Games' Werewords Deluxe for To The Table. Subscribe for more board game content.